Good afternoon all. Welcome to the lecture of Major and Integration. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So in last lecture we have seen what is the Jordan decomposition theorem. What is its statement? What is Jordan decomposition theorem? Jordan decomposition theorem says that if gamma b is signed measure on a measurable space x comma curly b, then there are two mutually singular measures gamma plus and gamma minus such that gamma equal to gamma plus minus gamma minus. Moreover, there is only one pair of such mutually singular measures, that is we have already seen. Okay, now there are some node. Okay, first one, if gamma be a signed measure, signed measure on a measurable space x comma curly b, then the pair of measures gamma 1 and gamma 2 or gamma plus and gamma 2, sorry, gamma plus and gamma minus, the pair of measures gamma 1 and gamma 2 such that gamma can be expressed as difference of these two measures and gamma 1 is mutually singular with gamma 2 is called Jordan decomposition of gamma. Okay, decomposition of gamma. And Jordan decomposition theorem, that is the above theorem, also says that the theorem also says that or state that for every signed measure, for every signed measure, there is a unique Jordan decomposition. Jordan decomposition. Since if we take any Jordan decomposition other than this gamma 1 and gamma 2, then it must be equal to gamma 1 minus gamma 2. That is if gamma plus and gamma minus be another pair of mutually singular measures such that gamma equal to gamma plus minus gamma minus, then gamma 1 is equal to that gamma plus and gamma minus is nothing but the gamma 2. So if we take any other pair of mutually singular measures, then it must be equal to this gamma 1 minus gamma 2, that is the difference of these new measures gamma plus minus gamma minus is nothing but the gamma minus gamma 2. Hence, this theorem states that if we take any signed measure, then there is a unique Jordan decomposition corresponding to that signed measure gamma. Okay, and second condition will be this theorem also says that every signed
सर
measure is
हॅलो सर हॅलो
yes
गायत्री
yes.
ब्राह्मणीला जॉईन करायचं मीटिंग.
Okay, join करायचं.
येस सर.
Okay, this theorem also states that every signed measure is a difference of two measures. The difference of two measures. Okay, we will prove this. We have already proved this one in a Jordan decomposition. Since the gamma we assigned the measure corresponding to that measurable space xb, then gamma can be expressed as a gamma 1 minus gamma 2 whenever gamma 1 and gamma 2 are measures but they are mutually singular measures. Okay, so from this we conclude that if we take any signed measure, then it can be expressed as a difference of two majors. Okay. Now third one will be, if gamma is a signed major, on a measurable space x comma curly b, x comma curly b, then gamma plus and gamma minus are called positive part and negative part of a signed major gamma respectively. Either we call a positive part or positive variation and a negative variation with respect to a signed major gamma. Okay, so if gamma be any signed major, then it can be expressed as the difference of two majors, gamma plus and gamma minus, where gamma plus is called the positive part or positive variation of gamma, and gamma minus is called a negative part or negative variation of a gamma, and the modulus of gamma equal to gamma plus gamma minus is called an absolute variation or total variation of a gamma. Absolute variation or total variation of a gamma. Gamma. Fourth note will be, any set E is positive with respect to gamma if gamma minus of E is equal to 0 and E is negative with respect to gamma if gamma plus of E equal to 0 and E is null set whenever modulus of gamma is equal to 0. Okay, so if we take any set E which is a measurable, then it is said to be a positive set with respect to a signed major gamma if its negative part will be equal to 0. If its negative part will be equal to 0, then there is no measurable subset having major is negative, and it is said to be a negative set if its a positive part will be equal to 0. Positive part means it contains all the measurable subsets of a given set having major is non-negative. If this will be equal to 0, there is no term, then the corresponding set E will be negative set, since it contains only that measurable subset having major will be non-positive. Therefore the corresponding set is said to be a negative set, and a set is said to be a null set if modulus of gamma of E will be equal to 0. That is, there is no measurable set having major is strictly positive and strictly negative. Then we say that the corresponding set E is a null set. So this will be one note for checking our corresponding set will be a positive set or not. That is, if E is a positive, then its negative part will be equal to 0. If it is negative, then its positive part will be equal to 0. And if it is null set, then its total variation will be equal to 0. Okay. Now, the last note will be, let if gamma is a signed major on a measurable space xb, as it will be a signed major on a measurable space xb, then by the Jordan decomposition theorem, every signed major has a unique Jordan decomposition. So let gamma equal to gamma plus, let gamma equal to gamma plus minus gamma minus is a Jordan decomposition of gamma. But as here gamma is a signed major, then it assumes at most one of the values plus infinity or minus infinity. As gamma is signed major, is a signed major, gamma assumes at most one of the value plus infinity or minus infinity. Plus infinity or minus infinity. ओके, इट अज्युम्स ॲट मोस्ट, म्हणजे जर अज्युम घेतली तर एक कोणती तरी घेईल, एक तर प्लस इन्फिनिटी घेईल किंवा मायनस इन्फिनिटी घेईल. इफ दॅट इज either, since gamma is nothing but gamma plus minus gamma minus, that is either gamma plus or gamma minus is finite. Okay, since at most one of these will be take this gamma take at most one of the value belonging to these two values, that is plus infinity or minus infinity. It means either gamma plus or gamma minus is finite. Okay, if both gamma plus and gamma minus are finite, then the corresponding silent measure gamma is called a finite measure, and if both gamma plus and gamma minus are sigma finite measure, then gamma is called a sigma finite silent measure. Okay, if both gamma plus and gamma minus are finite, then gamma is called finite silent measure. Silent measure. And if both gamma plus and gamma minus are sigma finite, then gamma is called sigma finite silent measure. And we know what is a finite and sigma finite silent measure. Finite measure is nothing but if the total universal set X has a measure finite, and the corresponding measure is said to be a sigma finite measure if there exists a sequence of measurable sets such that capital X is nothing but union over n running from 1 to infinity xn, whenever measure of xn is finite for each value of n. That corresponding measure will be called a sigma finite measure if it holds this condition. Okay. Now, next concept will be an absolutely continuous measures. Continuous measures. Okay. Let capital X comma curly b be a measurable space and let mu and gamma be two measures on measurable space X comma curly b. Then the measure gamma is said to be absolutely continuous with respect to measure mu if measure of E will be equal to 0 for any B belongs to, or any E belonging to curly B implies gamma of E equal to 0, and we write this as gamma is absolutely continuous with respect to me. That is this one will be denoted by this symbol. If gamma is absolutely continuous with respect to me, that is if it holds these conditions, then we denote this by this symbol, that is gamma is absolutely continuous with respect to me. Okay, so what is an absolutely continuous measure? If there is one measurable space X comma curly b and two measures mu and gamma which are defined on a measurable space xp, then the measure gamma is said to be absolutely continuous with respect to a measure mu whenever measure of E equal to 0 for any arbitrary set E belonging to curly B, that is any measurable set, measure of E equal to 0, then gamma of E is also 0, then we say that this gamma is absolutely continuous with respect to mu. Okay. Now next definition. Let mu and gamma be two signed measures on measurable space capital X comma curly B, then gamma is mutually singular with mu if modulus of gamma, that is total variation of gamma, is mutually singular with total variation of mu, and gamma is absolutely continuous with respect to mu whenever modulus of, that is total variation of gamma, is absolutely continuous with respect to total variation of mu. So this will be a definition. Since in absolutely continuous measure we have taken mu and gamma as a measures, but here we have taken mu and gamma as a signed measure, and if mu and gamma are any two signed measures, then this gamma is mutually singular with mu whenever total variation of gamma is mutually singular with total variation of mu, and gamma is absolutely continuous with respect to mu whenever modulus, that is total variation of gamma, is absolutely continuous with respect to total variation of mu. Then only we say that the corresponding measures gamma, signed measures gamma, is absolutely continuous with respect to mu, and similarly it is mutually singular with respect to mu. Okay. Now there is one result. Let gamma be a signed measure and mu be a measure.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, the last definition सांगा बरं.
म्युच्युअली सिंग्युलर आणखीन ॲब्सोल्युटली कंटिन्युअस मेजरचे जे दोन डेफिनेशन आपण पाहिले. म्युच्युअली सिंग्युलर मध्ये पण आपण म्युच्युअली सिंग्युलर मेजर मध्ये काय होतं, गॅमा 1 आणि गॅमा 2 हे दोन मेजर कधी म्युच्युअली सिंग्युलर होते, जर दोन डिस्जॉइंट सेट एक्झिस्ट झाले ए आणि बी, ज्यांचा युनियन हा एक्स आहे आणि डिस्जॉइंट असल्यामुळे त्यांचा इंटरसेक्शन ऑब्वियसली फायच येईल. आणखीन गॅमा 1 ऑफ ए इक्वल टू गॅमा 2 ऑफ बी इक्वल टू 0 और गॅमा 1 ऑफ बी इक्वल टू गॅमा 2 ऑफ ए इक्वल टू 0. देन वी से दैट द corresponding measures gamma 1 and gamma 2 are mutually singular. Similarly, absolutely continuous measure is nothing but if capital S comma curly B a measurable space, then two measures mu and gamma are said to be absolutely continuous with, if these are the two measures, then one measure gamma is said to be absolutely continuous with respect to mu if measure of E equal to 0 for any measurable set E. It implies that gamma of E is also 0. Then we say that this gamma is absolutely continuous with respect to the measure mu. Okay, this is for the measures. But if we have two signed measures, that is mu and gamma are two signed measures, then gamma is mutually singular with mu if its total variation is mutually singular with mu, that is total variation of mu, and gamma is absolutely continuous with respect to mu whenever total variation of gamma is absolutely continuous with respect to the total variation of mu. It means total variation of gamma is nothing but some gamma plus gamma minus, which is mutually singular with mu plus mu minus. असं असेल तरच त्याचे करस्पॉन्डिंग जे साइनड मेजर आहेत ते ॲब्सोल्युटली कंटिन्युअस आणखीन म्युच्युअली सिंग्युलर असतील, नाही तर नाही. हे साइनड मेजरच्या बाबतीत. जर मेजर असतील तर डायरेक्टली आपण डेफिनेशन नुसार जाऊ शकतो, पण जर साइनड मेजर असतील तर तुम्हाला हे चेक करावं लागेल. ठीक आहे.
येस सर.
डेफिनेशन आहे ती. ओके. लेट गॅमा बी अ साइनड मेजर अँड म्यू बी अ मेजर सच दॅट गॅमा इज म्युच्युअली सिंग्युलर विथ म्यू and gamma is absolutely continuous with respect to mu, then prove that signed measure gamma must be equal to 0 only. Okay, measure gamma is equal to 0. Okay, so here we have given one is a signed measure and another one will be a measure such that this gamma signed major gamma is mutually singular with mu, and signed major gamma is mutually absolutely continuous with respect to a major mu, then we have to prove that signed major gamma must be equal to 0. Okay, so it's prove. We have gamma is mutually singular with major mu, but as gamma is a signed major, then this will be possible if and only if total variation of gamma is mutually singular with total variation of mu. But as mu is a major, then there is no effect of this total variation on this mu, since it will be always a non-negative value. It implies total variation of gamma is mutually singular with mu, since mu is a major. So there is no effect on this total variation on this mu. Okay, but total variation of gamma is nothing but the gamma plus gamma minus, which is mutually singular with mu. Okay, now we have to use the definition of mutually singular majors. If we have two majors, gamma 1 and gamma 2, then they are said to be mutually singular if there exist disjoint measurable sets A and B. That is, the disjoint sets A and B such that A union B equal to X and gamma 1 of A equal to gamma 2 of B equal to 0. As here gamma plus gamma minus is mutually singular with respect to this major mu, which implies there exist disjoint sets A and B, sets A and B such that A union B equal to X and gamma plus gamma minus of A equal to 0 and mu of B equal to 0, which is from the definition of mutually singular majors. As these two majors are mutually singular, then by definition of mutually singular, there exist two sets A and B which are disjoint and having union will be equal to X, and gamma plus gamma minus of A is equal to 0 and major of B equal to 0. But we know that gamma plus and gamma minus are majors, which implies they are always non-negative. Gamma plus gamma minus of A is nothing but gamma plus of A plus gamma minus of A equal to 0. Now here gamma plus and gamma minus both are majors having addition will be equal to 0. But as these are the majors, then they must be non-negative. As they are non-negative and having sum will be equal to 0, then they must be equal to 0, which implies gamma plus of A equal to 0 and gamma minus of A is equal to 0. Okay, so here we get these two values, that is gamma plus of A is also 0 and gamma minus A is also 0. Okay, now we have also given that gamma is absolutely continuous with respect to mu, which implies modulus of gamma is absolutely continuous with respect to mu, since mu is a major. Now we have to use the definition of mutually singular majors. Absolutely continuous majors. Any two majors are said to be absolutely continuous. That is, modulus of gamma is absolutely continuous with respect to mu. Whenever major of E will be equal to 0 for any E belonging to curly B, then modulus of gamma of E is equal to 0 for that same E. As here modulus of gamma is absolutely continuous with respect to mu, which implies if we consider major of E equal to 0, then which implies that modulus of gamma, that is total variation of gamma of E, equal to 0. But total variation is nothing but gamma plus gamma minus of E will be equal to 0. That is, gamma plus of E plus gamma minus of E equal to 0. Again, both are non-negative, which implies gamma plus of E equal to 0. That is, positive variation is equal to 0 and negative variation is also 0 of a signed major gamma. Okay. Now, let E be any measurable set. Let E be any measurable set. As E be any measurable set, then this E can be written as E intersection X. But here X is nothing but A union B. Put that value, E intersection A union B, which is nothing but E intersection A union E intersection B. As A and B are two disjoint sets and E intersection A is a subset of A and E intersection B is a subset of B, then these two sets are again disjoint. Now apply the total variation of gamma on both sides, then we get modulus of gamma of E is nothing but total variation of gamma of E intersection A union E intersection B. But as these two sets are disjoint, then this one is nothing but modulus of gamma of or total variation of gamma of E intersection A plus total variation of gamma of E intersection B. So this will be the total variation of E. Okay. Now, but E intersection A is a subset of A, which implies total variation of this E intersection A is less equal by total variation of E. But we have proved that total variation of A is equal to 0. That is gamma plus of A plus gamma minus of A will be equal to 0. So total variation of gamma, this set will be equal to 0. As modulus of gamma is a total variation, then it must be non-negative. As this one is a non-negative and which is less equal by 0, then it must be equal to 0. Section A is equal to 0. So we get total variation of a major gamma with this set will be equal to 0. Now, and E intersection B is a subset of B, which implies measure of E intersection B is less equal by measure of B. But by the definition of mutually singular measures, measure of B is equal to 0. As measure of B is equal to 0 and mu is a measure, then measure of E intersection B less equal by 0 implies measure of E intersection B must be equal to 0. So here we get measure of E intersection B is equal to 0. But we have given that gamma is absolutely continuous with respect to a measure mu. And as gamma is a signed measure, then total variation of gamma is absolutely continuous with respect to mu. But as total variation of gamma is absolutely continuous with respect to mu and measure of E intersection B will be equal to 0, then by the definition of absolutely continuous measure, total variation of gamma of E intersection B must be equal to 0, which is from the definition of absolutely continuous measure. Continuous measure. Okay, so here we get total variation of gamma of E intersection A is equal to 0 and total variation of gamma of E intersection B is also 0. Now just put these values in star, then we get modulus of gamma of E or total variation of gamma of E is equal to total variation of gamma of E intersection A plus total variation gamma of E intersection B, and both will be 0, which implies total variation of gamma of E is equal to 0, but total variation of gamma of E for any E belonging to curly B, since here we have chosen one arbitrary measurable set E, which implies gamma plus gamma minus, since it will be a total variation of E equal to 0 for any E belonging to curly B. Okay, which implies gamma plus of E plus gamma minus of E equal to 0 for any E belonging to curly B, which is true for any arbitrary B, then it is true for every E belonging to B, which implies gamma plus gamma minus equal to 0. But gamma plus and gamma minus are two measures. As they are measures, then having value will be greater equal by 0. As its sum will be equal to 0, then both must be equal to 0, which implies gamma plus equal to 0 and gamma minus equal to 0 on measurable set sigma algebra curly B. But we know that gamma is nothing but gamma plus minus gamma minus. As both values of gamma plus and gamma minus will be equal to 0, then gamma equal to 0, and that is we have to change the required result. कोणाला काही डाऊट यामध्ये? काही नाही.
No, sir.
स्टँडर्ड मेजर दिला होता, दुसरा मेजर दिला होता. आणि दोन गोष्टी सांगितल्या होत्या त्या मेजर बद्दल. एक सांगितलं होतं की गॅमा हा म्युच्युअली सिमिलर आहे म्यू सोबत, आणखी गॅमा हा अब्सोल्युटली कंटिन्युअस विथ रिस्पेक्ट टू म्यू आहे. त्याच्यावरून प्रूव्ह काय करायचं होतं, स्टँडर्ड मेजर गॅमा हा मस्ट बी इक्वल टू 0 हे प्रूव्ह करायचं होतं. Gamma is absolutely continuous with, mutually singular with respect to mu. As gamma is a standard measure, then by the definition of this one, modulus of gamma, that is total variation of gamma is mutually singular with total variation of mu. But mu is a measure. Mu is a measure, then its total variation is nothing but the measure. Okay. So total variation of gamma is mutually singular with mu. But total variation of gamma is nothing but gamma plus gamma minus, which is mutually singular with mu. As these two measures are mutually singular, then we have to use the definition of mutually singular measures. Then there exist two disjoint sets A and B, such that A union B is X, and first measure of A will be equal to 0 and second measure of B is equal to 0. Now gamma plus of A plus gamma minus of A equal to 0. But gamma plus and gamma minus are two measures. As they are measures, then having value will be greater equal by 0. But its sum is equal to 0, and this will be possible if and only both are equal to 0. So from this we get gamma plus of A equal to 0 and gamma minus of A equal to 0, which is just from the definition of mutually singular measures. Mutually singular च्या डेफिनेशन नुसार आपण इथपर्यंत आलो. दुसरं काय दिलं होतं, गॅमा हा अब्सोल्युटली कंटिन्युअस आहे विथ रिस्पेक्ट टू म्यू. त्याच्यानुसार काही म्यू ऑफ इक्वल टू तुम्ही जी रो घेतला कोणत्याही एक आर्बिट्ररी ई बिलॉंगिंग टू कर्ली बी, then by the definition of absolutely continuous measure we get gamma plus of E equal to 0 and gamma minus of E equal to 0. हे फक्त दिलेले डेफिनेशन यूज केल्यानंतर आपण इथपर्यंत आलो. त्याच्यानंतर कोणताही एक आर्बिट्ररी मेजरेबल सेट ई चूज केला, त्या ईला आपण असं लिहू शकतो ई इंटरसेक्शन एक्स, बट एक्स इज नथिंग बट ए युनियन बी. ई इंटरसेक्शन ए युनियन ई इंटरसेक्शन बी. As A and B are two disjoint set, then these two sets are again disjoint. Therefore total variation of gamma is nothing but total variation of gamma of E intersection A union E intersection B. As these are two disjoint set, then it is nothing but countably subadditive property. Sorry, finitely additive property. Then modulus of gamma of E intersection A plus modulus of gamma of E intersection B. But E intersection A is a subset of A always. Okay, since it is subset of both A and E, so here E intersection A is a subset of A. Therefore total variation of gamma of this set E intersection A is less equal by total variation of measure gamma, assigned measure gamma with this set A will be equal, but this will be equal to 0. As this one is equal to 0 and which is less equal by 0, then it must be equal to 0. Similarly, E intersection B is subset of B and measure of E intersection B is less equal by measure of B, but measure of B equal to 0, which is from the definition of mutually singular measures. Therefore measure of E intersection B must be equal to 0. But total variation of gamma is absolutely continuous with respect to mu. Then total variation of gamma of this set E intersection B equal to 0. Therefore we get two values, model total variation of gamma of E intersection A equal to 0 and total variation of gamma of E intersection B equal to 0. Just we have to put that values in this one. Then we get total variation of a gamma with any measurable set E will be equal to 0, and which is true for any arbitrary E belonging to curly B. Then it is true for all E belonging to sigma algebra curly B. Therefore from this one we get gamma plus gamma minus equal to 0, and from that gamma plus and gamma minus must be equal to 0. As gamma plus and gamma minus equal to 0, and we know that gamma is nothing but the difference of two measures, that is gamma plus minus gamma minus, then 0 minus 0 which is again 0, and hence we get the sign the measure gamma will be equal to 0, and that is the required our 2. Now second one will be, actually there are two results depending on the definition of measures, mutually singular measures and absolutely continuous measures. Okay, if gamma 1 is mutually singular, sorry, first we will see for the absolutely continuous measures. Gamma 1 is absolutely continuous with respect to mu, and gamma 2 is absolutely continuous with respect to mu, where gamma 1, gamma 2 and mu are measures. Then prove that C1 gamma 1 plus C2 gamma 2 is also absolutely continuous with respect to. Okay, so here we have gamma 1 is absolutely continuous with respect to mu and gamma 2 is absolutely continuous with respect to mu. But here we have gamma 1, gamma 2 and mu are the majors. As they are majors, then there is no need to check the absolutely continuousness of its total variations. Since we will check the total variation is absolutely continuous with respect to the second major whenever the majors will be signed the majors. As here we have majors, then there is no need to check its total variation. Okay. So now let E be any measurable set, such that measure of that set E equal to 0. Okay, but we have gamma 1 is absolutely continuous with respect to mu, but gamma 1 is absolutely continuous with respect to mu. As gamma 1 is absolutely continuous with respect to mu and measure of equal to 0, which implies gamma 1 of E must be equal to 0. And also gamma 2 is also absolutely continuous with respect to mu, which implies gamma 2 of E equal to 0, which is from the definition of absolutely continuous measure. Continuous measures. Okay. Now consider C1 gamma 1 plus C2 gamma 2 of E. So this one is nothing but C1 gamma 1 of E plus C2 gamma 2 of E. But here gamma 1 of E equal to 0. Gamma 2 is also gamma 2 of E is also 0. Therefore this one is nothing but 0 plus 0, which is equal to 0. So whenever measure of E equal to 0 for any arbitrary measurable set E, C1 gamma 1 plus C2 gamma 2 of E is also equal to 0. Then by the definition of absolutely continuous measure, this C1 gamma 1 plus C2 gamma 2 is absolutely continuous with respect to mu, which implies C1 gamma 1 plus C2 gamma 2 is absolutely continuous with respect to mu. ओके, दिलं काय होतं, तीन मेजर दिले होते, गॅमा 1 गॅमा 2 आणखी म्यू. त्यामधला गॅमा 1 हा अब्सोल्युटली कंटिन्युअस होता विथ रिस्पेक्ट टू म्यू, आणखी गॅमा 2 हा अब्सोल्युटली कंटिन्युअस होता विथ रिस्पेक्ट टू म्यू. त्याच्यावरून आपल्याला याचा लिनियर कॉम्बिनेशन C1 गॅमा 1 प्लस C2 गॅमा 2 इज ऑल्सो अब्सोल्युटली कंटिन्युअस विथ रिस्पेक्ट टू म्यू हे दाखवायचं होतं. दिलेलं आहे तसं घेतलं आपण. ई बी हा ई आहे कोणताही मेजरेबल सेट आहे, कारण अब्सोल्युटली कंटिन्युअस आहे याचा अर्थ कोणत्याही एखाद्या मेजरेबल साठी तो ही प्रॉपर्टी सॅटिस्फाय करतो. दॅट इज इफ मेजर ऑफ इक्वल टू 0, then gamma 1 of equal to 0, and as gamma 2 is also mutually singular, absolutely continuous with respect to mu, then gamma 2 of E is also equal to 0. Therefore from this we have considered C1 gamma 1 plus C2 gamma 2 of equal to C1 gamma 1 of E plus C2 gamma 2 of E, but gamma 1 of E and gamma 2 of E will be equal to 0. Therefore C1 gamma 1 plus C2 gamma 2 of E equal to 0. जेव्हा जेव्हा आपण मेजर ऑफ E equal to 0 घेईल तेव्हा तेव्हा C1 gamma 1 plus C2 gamma 2 of E ह्या परत 0 येईल. हा जर असं होत असेल, then by the definition of absolutely continuous measure, this will be a absolutely continuous with respect to a measure. Okay, कुणाला काही डाऊट?
No, sir.
Now second, if gamma 1 is mutually singular with mu and gamma 2 is mutually singular with mu, where gamma 1 gamma 2 and mu are measures, gamma 1 gamma 2 and mu are measures, then show that linear combination of gamma 1 and gamma 2 is also mutually singular with mu. C1 gamma 1 plus C2 gamma 2 is mutually singular with mu. Okay, C2 here gamma 1 is mutually singular with mu. As gamma 1 is mutually singular with mu, then by the definition of mutually singular measures, there exist disjoint sets, disjoint measurable sets A and B, such that A union B equal to X and gamma 1 of A equal to 0 and measure of B will be equal to 0. As gamma 1 is mutually singular with mu, which implies there exist disjoint measurable sets A and B or A1 and B1 such that capital X is A1 union B1 and gamma 1 of A1 equal to major of B1 equal to 0, which is from the definition of mutually singular majors. Similarly, gamma 2 is mutually singular with mu, which implies there exist disjoint measurable sets A2 and B2, sets A2 and B2 such that capital X is A2 union B2 and gamma 2 of A2 equal to major of B2 is equal to 0. Okay, now let us define two sets A as an intersection of two sets A1 and A2 and B as B1 union B2. Okay, so here A is nothing but A1 intersection A2 and B equal to B1 union A2. Now actually we have to show that C1 gamma 1 plus C2 gamma 2 is mutually singular with respect to mu. That is, if this one is mutually singular with mu, then we have to show that there exist two sets A and B such that A union B will be equal to X, A intersection B equal to phi, and C1 gamma 1 plus C2 gamma 2 of A equal to 0 and major of B equal to 0. If such a things are exist, then we say that C1 gamma 1 plus C2 gamma 2 is mutually singular with mu. So for that we have taken two sets A and B. Defined A is nothing but A1 intersection A2 and B equal to B1 union B2. Okay. Now, as B equal to B1 union B2, which implies major of B is less equal by major of B1 plus major of B2. Since here we don't know whether B1 and B2 are disjoint or not, therefore it is countably subadditive, which implies major of B is less equal by. But major of B1 will be equal to 0 and major of B2 is also 0, which is less equal by 0 plus 0. But mu is a major, then major of B must be equal to 0. Okay. Now, consider C1 gamma 1 plus C2 gamma 2 of A, set A, which is nothing but C1 gamma 1 of a set A plus C2 gamma 2 of a set A. But here we have defined A is nothing but A1 intersection A2. Therefore, this one is C1 gamma 1 of A1 intersection A2 plus C2 gamma 2 of A1 intersection A2. Okay, but A1 intersection A2 intersection A2 is a subset of both A1 and A2, which implies gamma 1 of A1 intersection A2 is less equal by gamma 1 of A1, where gamma 1 is a major, but gamma 1 of a set A1 is equal to 0. Okay, so which implies gamma 1 of A1 intersection A2 is less equal by 0, since gamma 1 of A1 equal to 0. But as gamma 1 is a major and having major is less equal by 0, then it is only one possibility that gamma 1 of A1 intersection A2 will be equal to 0 only. To 0. Similarly, A1 intersection A2 is also a subset of A2, which implies gamma 2 of A1 intersection A2 is less equal by gamma 2 of A2, which implies gamma 2 of A1 intersection A2 less equal by 0, since gamma 2 of A2 equal to 0. Therefore, from this one, gamma 2 of A1 intersection A2 must be equal to 0. Now put that values in this one. So we get C1 gamma 1 plus C2 gamma 2 of a set A equal to 0 plus 0, which implies C1 gamma 1 plus C2 gamma 2 of a set A equal to 0. So here we get two measures, C1 gamma 1 plus C2 gamma 2 having major will be equal to, having on the set A will be equal to 0, and second measure will be major B, and which is also 0. Therefore, here we get two sets A and B having measures will be equal to 0. That is, measure of B equal to 0, mu of B equal to 0, and C1 gamma 1 plus C2 gamma 2 of A equal to 0. Therefore, here we get two measures having measure on set A equal to 0, and second measure on set B will be equal to 0. Now it remains to check whether A union B equal to X and A intersection B equal to 5. If A union B equal to X and A intersection B equal to 5, then here their existence of A and B will be here. Okay. So from that we will say that this C1 gamma 1 plus C2 gamma 2 is mutually singular with mu. Okay. So now A union B equal to A is nothing but A1 intersection A2, and B is nothing but B1 union B2. Okay, so which is nothing but A1 union B1 union B2, A1 union B1 union B2 intersection of A2 union B1 union B2. Okay, now, but we know that A1 union B1 will be equal to X, X union B2, X intersection A2 union B2 X, X union B1 again X, and X intersection X will be equal to X. So here we get two sets A and B having union is equal to X, and A intersection B equal to is A1 intersection A2 union B1 union B2. Okay, therefore this one is nothing but
सर इंटरसेक्शन
काय म्हणला
सर मध्ये इंटरसेक्शन आहे
sorry yes okay, A1 intersection A2 intersection B1 union B2. So this will be nothing but A1 intersection A2 intersection B1 union A1 intersection A2 intersection B2. Okay, so this one is, but as A1 and B1 are two disjoint sets, then A1 intersection B1 will be 5 and 5 intersection A2 is 5 union again A2 intersection B2, as they are two disjoint sets, then A2 intersection B2 equal to 5 and 5 intersection A1 is 5, so which is equal to 5. So here we get two sets A and B such that A union B equal to X and they are disjoint, that is its intersection will be equal to 5, and C1 gamma 1 plus C2 gamma 2 of A equal to 0 and measure of B equal to 0, then it holds the definition of mutually singular measures. Therefore from this we say that here there exists a undecomposition of X of a set X such that capital X equal to A union B, A intersection B equal to 5, C1 gamma 1 plus C2 gamma 2 of A equal to 0 and measure of B equal to 0, which implies C1 gamma 1 plus C2 gamma 2 mutually singular with mu, and here is the required result. Any doubt? ते दिलंय फक्त त्याचा यूज करायचा आहे, सॉल्व्ह करत गेलं की तुम्हाला तुमचे रिझल्ट मिळतात. ठीक आहे.
Yes, sir.
Let capital X be a set which contains 1, 3, 10 elements, 1, 2, 3 up to so 10, and curly B be a power set of X. Okay, so as X be a set which contains 10 element and curly B a power set of X, and power set of X is always sigma algebra. Therefore here we get capital X comma curly B be a measurable space. Then capital X comma curly B be a measurable space. Okay, let an, whenever n running from 1 to 10, Here, sequence of finite terms. There are only 10 terms. Sequence of finite terms where an is nothing but, that is nth term of the sequence will be minus 1 to the power n into n. Okay. Then, and measure is define one function u, define gamma from curly b to r by gamma of e equal to summation over n belonging to e of an. Okay. Then show that gamma is a signed major, and if gamma is a signed major, then find Hahn decomposition of set x with respect to major signed major gamma. Second one, find gamma of 1, 2, 3 signed major of this set, and last one, what are the null set with respect to gamma. With respect to gamma. Okay, so already we have capital X comma curly b be a measurable set, and there is one sequence which is not with whose nth term is nothing but an equal to minus 1 to the power n into n, and we have defined one function gamma which is from curly b to r by gamma of e equal to summation over n belonging to a an, and now we have to show that this gamma, we have to check first whether this gamma is a signed major or not. As already we have curly b be a power set of x, it means it is a sigma algebra. Then it remains to prove the two properties of major, that is gamma of phi will be equal to 0 and gamma is closed under countably additive property. Okay, if it holds these two properties, then gamma is a signed major, and if gamma is a signed major, then we have to find out these three values, three terms. Okay, now see its solution. Gamma phi, which is from the definition of given, which is nothing but summation over n belonging to phi of an. As there is no term, then it must be equal to 0. Okay, so first will be obviously 2. Now second one, let ei be a sequence of disjoint measurable sets. Sequence of disjoint measurable set, which implies gamma of union over I running from 1 to infinity ei from defined function which is nothing but summation over n belonging to union over I running from 1 to infinity ei of en. But this can be written as summation I running from 1 to infinity of summation n belonging to each of ei. Both are same things. Okay, but this one is nothing but by definition summation over n belonging to ei an is nothing but gamma of ei, which implies gamma of union over I running from 1 to infinity ei is nothing but summation I running from 1 to infinity gamma of ei, and which implies that gamma is a countably additive, with as gamma phi equal to 0 and gamma is a countably additive, which implies gamma is a signed major. Okay, now as it is signed major, then we have to find out these three. Okay, first we have to find out the Hahn decomposition of x with respect to gamma. As here an equal to minus 1 to the power n into n, but capital X countries there are only 10 terms, that is 1, 2, 3 up to so on 10. Okay, so from this we get signed major as first one x equal to 1, 2, 3 up to so on. Okay. If we take an equal to 1, then the corresponding first term of a sequence is nothing but -1 to the power n into n, that is -1 to the power 1 into 1, which is -1. A2 equal to -1 square, which is +1 into 2. A3 equal to -1 cube, which is -1 into 3. So we get here sequence an equal to -1, 2, -3, -4, sorry, +4, minus of 5, +4, minus of 5, 6, minus of 7, 8, minus 9, 10, which is from the given sequence. We get the sequence an as this one: -1, 2, -3, 4, -5, 6, -7, 8, -9, 10. Let us take set A, which contains the elements 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10, and set B contains 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. Okay, now here measure of each set, this 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10 is positive, and measure of this 1, 3, 5, 7, 9 is negative. Therefore, A is a positive set and B is a negative set, which implies A is positive and B is negative sets. Okay, as A and B is positive and negative sets respectively, and A union B will be equal to X, since it contains all the elements 1 to 10, and there is no element common in between these two sets A and B, which implies A intersection B will be equal to 5. So here we get two sets, one is positive and another one is negative, such that A union B equal to X and A intersection B equal to 5. Then by the theorem of Hahn decomposition theorem, we say that AB is a Hahn decomposition of set X with respect to a signed major gamma, which implies AB BA Hahn decomposition of set X with respect to signed major gamma. Okay, so first will be proved. Now second one, we have to find out the signed major of 1, 3, and 4. So signed major of set 1, 3, 4, as all are disjoint sets, there is nothing but signed major of a set 1 plus signed major of a set 3 plus signed major of a set 4. Okay, but signed major of 1 will be -1 plus signed measure of 3 will be -3, and signed measure of 4 will be equal to 4. -1 -3 -4 plus 4, which is equal to 0. So here signed measure of this set 1, 3, 4 is equal to 0, but this one is not a null set, since it is a union of two sets, that is 1, 3, and second set will be singleton 4, having union is this one, but its measure will be negatives of each other. So this one is a null set, not a null set, but having measure will be equal to 0. So 1, 3, 4 is not a null set, but its measure is 0. Its measure is 0. Now last one, 1 minute. Now we have to find out the null set with respect to signed major gamma. As here there is no term having major will be equal to 0. Therefore there is a no null set. But curly B will be a power set of X, and phi is a subset of every set. Then the null set corresponding to given signed major and given terms of X, there is only one null set, which is a phi. Okay. Phi is a only null set with respect to signed major gamma, and hence result. कोणाला काही डाऊट यामध्ये?
No, sir.
ओके, थँक्यू.